Two Can Play That Game is a 2001 romantic comedy directed by Mark Brown, not the white guy, this one, and stars Vivica A. Fox, everyone's favorite melanated mean girl, Morris Chestnut, Anthony Anderson, Wendy Raquel Robinson, Monique, and Tamala Jones. I love this movie. I remember I used to watch it by myself because it made me feel grown at age 11. The film is about Shantae Smith, who is a successful advertising executive. She wears cute designer outfits, has her own humongous office, and an even more humongous house. Shantae is an alleged relationship expert amongst her friends, all of whom have chosen to mate with Dusties. This Battle of the Sexes film is a prime cautionary tale of pick-me-ism gone wrong. To illustrate this, we have to look at each of the ladies and their situations. Since Shantae is the main character, I'll be saving her for last. Let's start off with Deidra. So, if you haven't already been able to tell, Deidra is fat, and the movie wastes no time in reminding us of this on multiple occasions.
You know, I set it off in here if they don't bring me some buffalo wings or something real quick. I am big, beautiful, and loving it, baby. My sister trying to get something to eat with all that whipped cream. I'm hungry. What is this? I don't know why y'all brought me in this skinny ass heifer store. You see, there's two things you don't mess with. My man and my food. You need some meat, some potatoes.
When she's not being a stereotype, she's dealing with her man Tyrone. Tyrone is broke, does not hold a job, and constantly asks her for money.
Let me see you until next week.
Hell no. You know what I don't understand? How a man can have a mouthful of gold teeth and be broke as hell.
She's most likely housing his friends as well. She clearly has no plans on leaving her Dusty, as although she has taken on the role of a surrogate mother to this grown man, Deidra is willing to put up with him, draining her resources because the sex is good.
Tyrone may be broke, but baby, he is a pipe-laying fool. My baby can lay the pipe.
Moving right along to the only character with any sense, we have Tracy, who is fed up with her cheating-ass man named Dwayne. His name would be Dwayne.
Come on now, I'm just looking. I'm a man, ain't I?
Anyway, Tracy finds a pair of undies that does not belong to her, and she confronts him.
Who do the underwear belong to, Dwayne?
The underwear belong to my sister.
Your sister.
He acts guilty because he is, so she literally breaks a bunch of his stuff and then leaves. Wait, that's her entire arc. She doesn't tolerate cheating, so she dumps him. The end.
Better watch your back.
Now on to this mess. Karen, Shantae's friend, decided to go the Build-A-Man route. Although she is an executive at an engineering firm and should be with someone who is as successful as she is, her heart goes pitter-patter for the first guy to give her any positive attention. In this case, it's Bobby Brown the mechanic. Per Shantae,
I mean, she's a damn sister. Should work with her brother, you know?
so Karen starts surrogate mommying him, buying him clothes, fixing his hair, and eventually fixing his teeth.
Michael has some great teeth. He should for what they cost you.
Then she moves him in, and he promptly begins resenting her for providing for him. They've been together for 2 years, and besides this half-assed proposal,
Marry me. Marry me.
there's no sign of a permanent commitment. Plus, now that he doesn't look like Jerome from Martin, he most likely is ready to explore women he wasn't previously able to access. So he dumps her. After just a little over a week of Shantae's branded mind games, she successfully gets a cubic zirconia ring out of Jerome. But that's her arc. It's abysmal as hell, and she can do so much better. And finally, we have Shantae Smith, who appears to be doing the best out of all the ladies and clearly revels in this.
I don't have a problem with my man.
Shantae's got it going on. Old white men are leering at her in the elevator. This office grunt is checking her out. She has a drop-top convertible and uses a valet service everywhere she goes. and she's actually dating someone on her level, an attorney named Keith. Oh yeah, Shantae is also a terrible friend. Even Vivica said in a BuzzFeed article that she didn't like her character and didn't want to play her initially.
Time to find yourself a new man and learn how to cook.
Can cook.
You can microwave. Maybe it's time to learn a little bit about sports, too.
Shantae, all I was...
No, now no more Michael. When's the last time you showered? It's not that I'm unhappy for it, it's just that I've got problems of my own.
After Shantae ditches her heartbroken friend to go and have a lunchtime quickie with Keith, she smugly tells the audience how she doesn't have anything to worry about with him.
I trust him, and he knows what he's got. That's my man, Keith.
After they've engaged in some afternoon delight, Keith says,
"There was nothing that you or anybody can ever say to make me leave that woman, man."
So naturally he's about to fuck everything up. Duh, we wouldn't have a movie otherwise. So the girls are at Shantae's house having their usual non-Bechdel test passing conversations. For like a full minute, they actually have a cute moment where they aren't discussing men, so of course, a man interrupts. Keith calls and Karen passes the message along to Shantae.
Shantae, what? That was Keith. He said he can't do dinner because he's working late.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Shantae, who previously said the number one sign of a cheating man is when he tells you he's working late, instantly panics.
I was working late.
Not only is she stuck hanging out with her friends, since she was originally going to dinner with Keith, but she fears he's stepping out. While the girls are having dinner, Karen sees Keith on the dance floor with an exotical.
Isn't that Keith over there on the dance floor?
I was working late. I was working late.
There was nothing that you or anybody can ever say to make me leave that woman, man.
I was late.
Shantae is stunned. She was feminine.
Hugs your body and accentuates your curves. After you've applied your makeup and put yourself together, get your nails and hair done.
Fit.
She do got a fat ass.
Friendly.
Shantae, I'm sorry. Hey. Brother. Oh, brother. Be polite and charming.
Clearly didn't need a man for money.
Waiter, check please. Would you like me to take care of this?
Nah, I think I'll pick this one up.
Are you sure?
And submissive. She fucked her boyfriend at work, ditched her friends for him, gassed him up to the audience, and it still wasn't good enough. So her blue screen of death kicks in big time. Instead of having a moment of clarity regarding her obvious pick-me tendencies and realizing the advice she's been giving her girlfriends can still backfire, Shantae goes to the bathroom to reboot and comes up with a plan to mindfuck him into not doing this again. I mean, I would have just dumped him because you literally caught him about to cheat, but that's just me. Shantae calmly walks up to him and introduces herself like a friend, which throws Keith all the way off. I must note that during this exchange, at no point does he tell this woman, who obviously thinks he's single, that she is his girlfriend.
She was nice. Who's she?
Keith is so confused and taken aback that he just leaves. Then she begins her slow descent into mild sociopathy by making Keith suffer instead of, again, just dumping him. First, she ignores his calls.
Jason, please tell him that I'm just getting out of a meeting. He should call back in about 10 minutes. Thank you.
You have 11 messages.
Keith is online too.
Tell him I'm busy.
Yeah, Shantae, what's up? It's me again. It's 6 o'clock.
11 o'clock. Okay. All right, bye.
Then, when she does decide to answer, she rushes him off the phone before setting a date for them to talk.
With that new promotion
Keith,
he's
sweetie,
working on,
I'm
man.
sorry, but I've got a client coming in. Why don't we meet tonight at the bistro and we can discuss this?
When they meet up, Keith explains to Shantae that he planned to get dinner with this other woman, even though when she caught them, they weren't eating.
I shouldn't have been in the spot with Julie that night. But what happened was, we were working late. I got a little hungry. She asked me if I wanted to go for something to eat. I was like, no, without anything and 2 drinks, we were out on the dance floor, and that's when you came in.
Shantae isn't having any of it, and she shouldn't. She breaks up with him.
See, when you do clownery, the clown comes back to bite.
Keith is sad because he got caught and thinks he can bribe Shantae to forgive him with Lauryn Hill tickets.
Hey, I'm picking up some tickets to the Lauryn Hill concert. Yeah, so just let me know if you want to.
Which is a terrible idea because she probably wouldn't even show up. It wouldn't be a black film without a church scene, so we see Shantae getting her life at the Lord's residence. But she's not just there because she's... She's also here to continue to make Keith jealous by flirting with one of his friends.
Hey, Trent.
Hey.
The gossip makes its way back to Keith's friend Tony, who serves as Keith's inner monologue in this film. Either that or he's in love with Keith because he seems way too invested in this man's personal life.
Did you smack it? So did you hit? No, did you hit? You hit it, right?
Then he shows up unannounced. I mean, Shantae not answering the door was definitely an option. Keith goes back to Tony to brag about what he did.
So I got over there about 10 o'clock that night, all dressed up, looking good and suave and debonair. So she invited me in, I came on in there. She knew I was gonna make a move. Sat down on the couch, looking all good like a double scoop of chocolate, Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Looking all luscious and lickety. I was there to seduce. Gave her that Denzel eye thing, a little of that LL lip action. But I'm moving in for the kill.
Hey, man, get to the damn fucking part.
Start an argument with me, you know what I'm saying? No matter what it was about, I got her yelling and screaming at me.
Right. The transference of frustration.
Apparently it worked because Shantae is drinking her feelings the next day. To take her mind off of the situation that she's fueling, Shantae starts going on dates with losers to occupy her time. Apparently, Shantae has had prior dabblings with fake-ass Lenny Kravitz, Barry White in a bad wig, light-skinned Dr. Umar, Skinny Sherman Klump, How to Not Be a Player, and the Black Garth Brooks. Are there no other eligible black men in LA? Oh, I forgot to mention. So Shantae is also a hater. She is jealous of one of Keith's associates, Connie Spaulding, who Shantae describes as a
bona fide hoe. Hey, Connie. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey, how you doing?
Connie also has it going on. She's just as successful as Shantae.
Vice President of Marketing.
She's gorgeous, and she has the most swingingest ass ponytail extension known to man. She even suggests that her boss got divorced once Connie began working with him. Cut to Keith, who is trying to move on as well. He and Tony are at a club with Connie, who is being extremely aggressive with Keith on the dance floor despite his obvious discomfort.
How do you like that?
Whoa!
It's always nice to have your lawyer.
Well, shit, maybe this is what Shantae was talking about. She probably raped her boss.
She's always, trying to me and shit on the dance floor, right?
You say that like that's a bad thing. You say that like that's a bad thing.
Karen, who finished her 10-day program, announces to the girls at the mall that she's engaged. I'm not happy for her either because she clearly doesn't want better for herself, but Shantae pretends to care for all of 5 seconds and then walks away to tell the audience that she's too consumed in her own drama that she created to properly give a shit. Then she ditches the girls and goes to buy some sexy lingerie so she can pull a drive-by on Keith. Like I said, Shantae is a terrible friend. She shows up unannounced at Keith's crib in this sexy Dior number to give back some of his things. But Keith, who clearly isn't over her, invites her inside to talk. Of course, they end up making out, but Shantae leaves him there with blue balls.
God, please, no! No!
Connie invites Keith to this business party that Shantae is also attending, and Tony convinces him to go. Lala, before all the surgeries, is the MC for the event. Shantae and her 3+1s arrive at the party, and she sees Keith brought her sworn enemy, Connie.
Bill Parker, nice seeing you again.
How are you?
Hi, Shantae.
Her BSOD activates again.
It's not supposed to be happening like this. On day 9, you're supposed to be kicking back, waiting for him to come and beg for your forgiveness.
And she does the most pick-me thing of the film. Even though they are both single, because Shantae dumped Keith, she gets mad at Keith for taking Connie. But she's not done embarrassing herself, because she also decides that Connie can catch this smoke as well. Reminder, Shantae is 28 years old. Connie checks her, but Shantae imagines knocking her the fuck out just because she doesn't like her. Meanwhile, Shantae's abandoned friends are spying on Keith. Deidra offers to beat him up. This is a business function. And almost follows through with it, which I'm sure would have made Shantae look bad. Losing her power, Shantae has to act quickly since she arrived sans man. She slashes her own tire to appear as a damsel in distress in order to nab a flunky to make Keith jealous. This whole plan could have backfired if nobody stopped for her, but it's a movie, so of course it only takes a few tries. Having ditched her friends completely, Shantae focuses all of her time on generic white guy, and then Keith gets jealous and confronts her.
Shantae, can I talk to you for a minute, please?
Sure.
To further mess with him, Shantae drops a condom on purpose to piss him off. It works. She thinks after she's done manipulating him, he'll have broken into her house, waiting with flowers to surprise her. So she bids generic white guy adieu, since he's already fulfilled his purpose, and she waits.
Keith.
But all she gets is Chinese food. Oh, never mind, that was for her neighbor.
Next door.
Oh, next door.
Right
Next door. Okay.
Shantae leaves and goes to the same bar from earlier, drowning her sorrows. Her plan has failed, and she is now manless, which is the worst possible thing that could ever happen to any hetero woman. Another lady comes up next to her, and Shantae asks her how she's doing. The woman complains that a guy, who later turns out to be Keith, wouldn't flirt with her, and Shantae just walks away from this lady who is still talking when she sees him.
He kept going on and on about some bullshit of his ex-girlfriend. She was so perfect.
Child. Anyway, so.
Dude, Shantae ain't shit. They just slow dance it out and start eating each other's faces. The end. You may be wondering if all of this was worth it, and if she and Keith stayed together. This is addressed in the sequel, 3 Can Play That Game, where Shantae reveals that, surprise, surprise, Keith ended up stringing her along for years before moving to Dubai for business.
You remember Keith, right? He decided that he wanted to take a job in Dubai. I'll go with you as long as you put a ring on that finger. He didn't want to commit, so y'all know what I had to do, right? Kick his ass to the curb.
So none of that shit worked in the end. Shantae Smith, one of the biggest pick-me's in film.
My man, the best way to a man's heart is through his stomach and his sports. My man, as many times as your man can get it up, my man, it's your job to get it back down. My man.
Was cheated on and then made into a years-long girlfriend, all because she didn't stay broken up with Keith once she knew she couldn't trust him. In conclusion, don't date men who aren't on your level. Don't date men who you have to provide for. Dump them if they cheat on you. Immediately. And don't take them back. By the way, did y'all know that Vivica was in a Degrassi episode? Speaking of Degrassi, I have videos on Degrassi, and you should totally watch them while you're at it.